Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Imagine this. You have a time machine and a chance to sit down with one of the most notorious criminals in history. No judgment, just pure curiosity. Who would you pick? Would it be a mysterious killer whose identity is still unknown? Or a ruthless gangster who ruled the streets? That's the question we're diving into today in this video. If you could interview one criminal, who would it be? We're going to explore some of the most intriguing historical criminals, share mind-blowing facts about their lives and crimes, and think about what burning questions we'd ask them. Stick around because these stories are wild, and you might just change your mind about who you'd choose by the end. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more history deep dives. Let's jump right in. First up, let's talk about one of the most enigmatic figures in criminal history, Jack the Ripper. This guy terrorized London's Whitechapel district in 1888, and to this day, no one knows who he really was. He murdered at least 5 women, all sex workers, and mutilated their bodies in gruesome ways. The killings were so brutal that they shocked the entire world. But here's what's really intriguing. He sent taunting letters to the police and the press, signing them "From Hell" or "Jack the Ripper." One letter even came with half a human kidney. Experts have suspected everyone from a royal surgeon to a Polish immigrant, but the case remains unsolved. Why would I want to interview him? Imagine asking, who are you really and why did you do it? Was it revenge, madness, or something else? The answers could rewrite history books. And think about the psychological insights. We could learn so much about the mind of a serial killer from the 19th century. Moving on to another chilling character from the late 1800s. H.H. Holmes, often called America's first serial killer. Born Herman Webster Mudgett, he changed his name and built a massive hotel in Chicago, right before the 1893 World's Fair. But this wasn't just any hotel. It was a murder castle filled with secret passages, trapdoors, gas chambers, and even a crematorium in the basement. He lured victims, mostly young women visiting the fair, into his lair, killed them, and sold their skeletons to medical schools for cash. Estimates say he murdered over 30 people, though he confessed to 27. Intriguing fact: Holmes was a master con artist before becoming a killer. He scammed insurance companies by faking deaths and even married multiple women at once without them knowing. He was hanged in 1896, but before dying he said, "I was born with the devil in me." If I could interview him, I'd ask, how did you build that castle without anyone suspecting? And what drove you to such elaborate evil? His story shows how charm can hide pure horror. Now, let's sail back to the golden age of piracy with Blackbeard, whose real name was probably Edward Teach. This infamous pirate ruled the Caribbean seas from 1716 to 1718 aboard his ship, Queen Anne's Revenge. He terrorized ships with his fearsome appearance, long black beard tied with ribbons, lit fuses under his hat to create smoke, making him look like a demon. He captured over 40 ships, but here's a fun fact. Despite his scary reputation, there's no record of him actually killing anyone during his piracies. He preferred intimidation over violence to get what he wanted: gold, rum, and supplies. Blackbeard was killed in a brutal battle with British naval officer Robert Maynard in 1718, where he took 5 musket balls and 20 sword cuts before dying. Why interview him? What was life really like as a pirate? Were you as ruthless as the legends say, or was it all an act? His tales could reveal the truth behind pirate myths, like buried treasure and the code of the Brethren. Fast forward to the Great Depression era with the iconic duo, Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow were lovers and outlaws who robbed banks, stores, and gas stations across the central U.S. from 1932 to 1934. They weren't the glamorous Robin Hood's movies make them out to be. They mostly hit small businesses and killed at least 13 people, including cops. But the public loved them because they stuck it to the banks during tough times. Intriguing facts: Bonnie was actually married to someone else when she met Clyde and never divorced. Clyde once cut off his own toes to escape prison labor. And in a car crash, Bonnie's leg was burned so badly by battery acid that she limped for life and sometimes had to be carried. They died in a hail of bullets in 1934 ambush. I'd ask them, was the thrill worth the constant running? What was your relationship really like amid all the chaos? Their story is a mix of romance and tragedy. Next, the king of Prohibition-era crime, Al Capone, aka Scarface. This Chicago mob boss ran bootlegging, gambling, and prostitution rackets in the 1920s, making millions, about $100 million a year at his peak, which is billions today. He was behind the infamous St. Valentine's Day massacre in 1929, where 7 rivals were gunned down, though he was never charged for it. His scar came from a bar fight where he insulted a woman's brother, who slashed his face. But Capone wasn't all bad. He opened soup kitchens during the Depression and donated to charities. Ironically, he was nailed for tax evasion in 1931 and sent to Alcatraz. He died in 1947 from syphilis complications. Interview question: did you order the Valentine's massacre? And how did you balance being a family man with being a mobster? His life shows the blurry line between criminal and businessman. Shifting to more modern horrors, Ted Bundy, the charming serial killer of the 1970s. He confessed to 30 murders, but the real number could be higher. Bundy targeted young women, often college students, luring them with his good looks and fake injuries, like a cast on his arm. He operated across states from Washington to Florida and escaped custody twice, once jumping from a courthouse window. Intriguing. He studied psychology and law, even defending himself in court on TV. Executed in 1989, he'd say things like, "Society wants to believe it can identify evil people, but it's not practical. Why interview? What made you start killing? Was it nature or nurture?" His case changed how we profile killers. Then there's Jeffrey Dahmer, the Milwaukee cannibal. From 1978 to 1991, he killed 17 men and boys, dismembering them and even eating parts. He used acid to dissolve bodies and kept souvenirs like skulls. Arrested after a victim escaped with handcuffs on, police found horrors in his apartment. Heads in the fridge, photos of victims. Fact: Dahmer was beaten to death in prison in 1994 by another inmate. I'd ask, what possessed you to go beyond murder to cannibalism? Could anything have stopped you early? His story highlights mental health failures. John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown, murdered 33 young men and boys in the 1970s, burying most under his house. By day, he was a contractor and dressed as Pogo the Clown for kids' parties. Arrested in 1978 after a missing boys investigation led to his crawl space. Fact: he was executed in 1994. Interview: how did you hide your double life? What triggered the killings? Terrifying duality. Pablo Escobar, the Colombian drug lord, built a cocaine empire in the 1980s worth billions. He killed thousands, including politicians, but also built homes for the poor, earning love. Escaped prison, killed in 1993. Fact: owned a zoo with hippos that still roam free. Ask us, were you a Robin Hood or just a killer? How did power corrupt you? Finally, Harold Shipman, Dr. Death. A British doctor who killed about 250 patients with overdoses from 1972 to 1998. Mostly elderly women. Caught after forging a will, suicided in prison 2004. Fact: high cremation rate raised suspicions. Ask him why betray your oath as a doctor. What was the motive? Phew, that's a lot of dark history. Each of these criminals left a mark that's still felt today. For me, I'd pick Jack the Ripper, just to solve the mystery. Who would you choose and what would you ask? Drop it in the comments, like if you learned something new, and share with a friend who loves true crime. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, but stay safe out there. See you next time.